Guys, did Shopify actually just crash? What's going on, guys? I'm Braden Wirch. If this is your first time to my channel, make sure you hit subscribe. I continue to over-deliver insane value to you guys every day to grow you personally and financially as well. All right, guys, if you've got Shopify stores, there's a good chance you actually dealt with this today. So fortunately, from what I can tell is this has almost been worked out, but over 50% of Shopify stores, the link was down today. So essentially, if you had a domain name through Shopify, it was down for anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. And so I had so many people in my course. I had people all over Facebook message me nonstop wanting to know what was going on. I made several calls to Shopify to see what was going on. 2 of my stores were fine, but my biggest, my most heavy hitter store was actually down. I had customers left and right messaging me what was going on, saying that my store is down, they couldn't get to the link, and I actually had a pretty massive email promotion running at the time. So first I want to talk to you about what the actual crash was. Then I want to talk to you about customer service, how I dealt with it in this circumstance, and how I deal with customer service very effectively for long shipping times, returns, everything like that. So first, the crash. So essentially what happened was over 50% of domain names that were run through Shopify were basically down. So if you had a Shopify domain that you bought, there's a good chance that people couldn't get to your store. Whether it's on the phone, desktop, whatever, people couldn't get to it. And so if you were running ads, hopefully you caught it in time, because I actually caught it about 30 minutes late. So I'd spent 30 minutes of ads essentially on it. And I actually had a lot of people that I know running Instagram influencers right during this time. So it was definitely not a good thing. So I'm not actually going to say anything bad about Shopify. Shopify has allowed me to make almost $500,000 in revenue on one store in under 7 months. It's allowed me to afford my Audi R8, leave the fire department to be a full-time entrepreneur. So it's been amazing for me. So I'm not actually going to say anything bad about Shopify. But with that being said, this is a pretty bad hiccup. I mean, Shopify is a lot of people's livelihood, and this is a pretty big mistake I saw today. I hadn't seen this. As long as I've been in the Shopify dropshipping world, I've not seen this actually happen. So fortunately, they got it fixed relatively quick, but quite a few people I know lost a good bit of money from it. So hopefully that wasn't you. Hopefully you didn't lose a lot of money. Hopefully you didn't have an Instagram influencer. But at the same point, if you had, Instagram influencer post, you had an email marketing like I did, there's quite a bit of the opportunity you could have lost. So fortunately for my email marketing, I was able to send out an email really quick, and I gained back a lot of sales I would have lost. So the first thing I want to talk to you about with customer service is how I dealt with this crash. So first, I was getting a lot of messages on Facebook Messenger, basically saying my store was down, they wanted to buy a product, couldn't. So I essentially let them know that we're working on it. I didn't say anything that it's Shopify, anything like that. I said, we know of the issue, we're working on it, we'll have it up as soon as possible, which is kind of the obvious thing. But then as soon as it came back on, and this is where a lot of people don't do it, I followed up. I sent out a message essentially to everybody that had messaged me saying that it was down. I sent them a message saying, hey, it's back up. For your inconvenience, here's a 20% discount code. The 20% discount code, you need to put something in there, or they're not going to have an incentive to go back to your store. You've got to give them an incentive at this point to go back. So customer service, how I deal with the long shipping times, returns, everything kind of hard with Shopify. It took me a minute to actually formulate the best ways to do this. This took a few weeks to months to actually really get this down. So the first thing, you need good English. I see a lot of people, I'll critique their customer service essentially, and their English, they use bad grammar, they have spelling mistakes. That's not good. So first, you need to be very professional. Professionalism is definitely the key here with customer service. So after you've got that down, you have to remember with shipping times, and this is where a lot of drop shippers make it harder on themselves. So one thing I always preach is don't just test in the big 5. You want to test in Europe and Asia and Africa, all these other places. Well, that goes for running your actual conversions ads as well. So I do run conversions ads all the time in Canada and the US, but I have probably over 90% of my orders come outside of US and Canada. but people know my stores are from the US. So fortunately, I've vetted my suppliers. I've negotiated down my supplier shipping times, and you can do that. And I recommend once you find winning products, you need to negotiate with your suppliers both on price and shipping. And if you can get the shipping time down, that's great. So for Europe, most of my products to Europe get there within 8 to 14 business days, depending on what country it is, customs, all of that. So to my orders to Europe, I rarely have to deal with customer service having to do with shipping times because they know I'm in the US, and they know they would expect an order to take a little bit of time anyway coming from the US. So that's not a big deal. But let's go ahead and talk about orders to the US and how I deal with the customer service with that. So first off, like I talked about, you need to have very professional grammar and spelling and everything like that. You need to have good English. But then after that, you need to go ahead and reassure the customer. You need to leave the customer essentially to where they're feeling like, this is a great company, I love this company, I'm definitely gonna order again, even though I don't even have my product yet. So the way you do that is you basically come at them very, very reassuring. So I'll say something along the lines of, thank you for shopping at such and such. We deeply apologize for your inconvenience. Your order is on the way, your order is currently at, and I'll tell where their order is, whether it's in customs, whether it's on the way to customs. I'll leave the tracking code and actually where they can track it at, because that's the biggest thing. They just want to know where their order is. If you've got, order coming to the United States, a lot of times they can be very frustrated about the shipping time, but you need to make sure you've got all of that outlined on your store. So if you've got all of that outlined on your store, you're very, very reassuring. You can even then, I don't recommend doing this in the first message, so whether it be on Facebook or your first email, don't give them just a discount right off the bat. But if it keeps taking a while, you need to go ahead and give them a discount for them waiting so long. Now, if that's like they've been waiting 15 days, I'm not going to do that. But if they've waited, an unreasonable amount of time, I'll either give them a discount, or if it's been way too long, I'll go ahead and refund them. But if you have a winning product, you should know about how long it takes for that product to get to certain countries. And so you should know if the shipping is just very unreasonable for that country, or if it's typically in a certain time period, and if it's not there within that time period, then you might have to do discount or refund. Another thing I do to actually avoid refunding as a whole, since I've already shipped the product and that would make me lose money, is I'll offer, if like say the product got lost en route, or it's taking forever and it seems like it's being lost en route, then what I'll do is I'll say something along the lines of, we deeply apologize for the inconvenience. We will make this right. Would you rather us refund your order or ship a new order to you immediately? And typically, I would say 9 times out of 10, they choose to go ahead and have another order shipped. So if your profit margins are good enough, which they should be if you're doing like Facebook advertising and all that, it's actually better for you to go ahead and ship another order rather than you just going ahead and refunding. You're losing money at that point, and you don't want that. So this is only if it gets way too long. I see a lot of people, they don't talk about, well, what happens if the order's been out there too long, which can definitely happen with drop shipping. You need to go ahead and incentivize the customer. You need to reassure them. That's the biggest thing. You need to keep them informed, and you need to reassure them. If you do that, you're going to be okay. Then when you get to the point that you can hire a virtual assistant, you need to make sure that they have good English, and you need to give them templates essentially on what to say. Now, it's great if you have a virtual assistant that doesn't even need templates. So my virtual assistants for customer service, they're out of the Philippines, and they're amazing. They've taught me a lot on customer service, and I've gotten better at my own personal customer service because of it. And so they're able to think on the spot and deal with everything on their own. And they're very versed in my store, so they know my discounts. They know all of that. And that's what you want. You want a virtual assistant that you can trust, and a virtual assistant that essentially can even be better at customer service than you. And once you've got that, you're okay. You're going to have, less than 6% of your orders should be refunded, and essentially very, very upset customers. But this is one topic that I don't see talked about enough, because this is a very big part of Shopify dropshipping, is the actual customer service issues, because we do deal with long shipping times. But that's why I suggest, shipping a lot of your orders outside of the US, ship to Europe, ship to Africa, ship to Asia, to where they're used to waiting a little bit of time coming from the US, even Australia. But still ship to the US, just have, rock hard freaking customer service, and you'll be good to go. All right, guys, I hope you found insane value in this video. Don't worry, Shopify is not going down. Definitely a hiccup today, but they got all of that worked out. I continue to over-deliver insane value to you guys every day to grow you personally and financially as well. Please leave me a like on this video. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Leave down in the comments if you were affected by the crash at all today, and then if you've got any questions on customer service, I'd love to go ahead and answer them for you guys. Keep grinding, y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.